Grazing cattle on the hills can help deliver the habitat quality that is paid for in the hen harrier programme. Appropriate grazing can help reduce the risk of wildfires and ensure that land remains eligible for direct payments. But we need to recognise that every hill and every farm is different, so there can be no universal rules about stocking rates or dates for grazing. Instead, we need to focus on the results that we want to achieve. Bogs and heaths are sensitive habitats, and overgrazing can cause a lot of harm. It can destroy the peat-forming plants like sphagnum moss and heather. In severe cases, it can lead to the erosion of the peat itself, causing serious damage to streams and rivers. Getting stocking rates and the timing of the grazing season right is the key to getting the most out of the bogs and heaths on the farm. On a grassy hill, we want to encourage heathers and mosses and to reduce the risk of spring wildfires. We want to develop a mix of heather and grasses with both short and tall vegetation. On a site like this, we want a clumpy look. By late summer, we want to have grazed down patches mixed in with the heather and tall grasses, so that the vegetation looks rough or uneven. If this can be done, we will have provided a valuable habitat during the summer and will have reduced the risk of wildfires the following spring. If we can achieve this, the land will provide nest sites for meadow pipits and skylarks, insects to rear their chicks, which in turn are prey for hen harriers. It will provide grazing for livestock and ensure continued eligibility for direct payments, all free from the risk of wildfires. Sustainable cattle grazing is the only practical way of achieving this. Most breeds of cattle are suitable for 2 months hill grazing in June and July. Continentals like Charolais, Limousins or even cull cows from dairy herds can all do well in early summer. Outside of June and July, the traditional hill breeds like Aberdeen Angus, Black and Belted Galloways, Herefords and the native Irish Moiled, Drummond, Kerry or Dexter will perform better than Continentals. Traditional breeds are hardier, they are better able to cope with bad weather and a poorer diet. The hill is a tough environment, so don't use animals that are lame or have pre-existing veterinary issues. Dose all animals for fluke and treat for lice a week or so before they go to the hill. To reduce the risk of red water, use animals that were reared on similar ground. They would have been exposed as calves and may have developed resistance. This hill is dominated by Millennia, sometimes called fionn, purple moorgrass or sedge. It is a deciduous grass. It grows rapidly from May to July and the leaves die off by November. It is bright green now, but in the winter it gives many hills that characteristic creamy yellow colour. The dead leaves are the main fuel for the spring wildfires that cause so much harm to ground nesting birds. Fires that damage habitats and hit farmers in the pocket. On the plus side, Millennia is relatively nutritious for cattle in early summer and doesn't need fertiliser. Managing cattle grazing correctly can help get the best out of this resource and tackle the problems that Millennia can cause. The nutritional value of the hill pasture is at its best in early summer. That is when the animals should be there. Pound for pound, in June and July, a diet of Millennia has 90% as much energy as grass from intensively grazed pastures. And it is often available in huge quantities. However, the season is short and the value of Millennia as forage falls off rapidly after July. In June and July, most animals will do well grazing on Millennia, although young cattle from weaning to 18 months should not be kept on the hill for more than a couple of weeks. Cows with calves are fine for a few weeks, but take them off by the end of July. If you are going to keep animals on the hill after July, stick to mature cattle, dry cows and traditional hill breeds. Try and take all stock off from October to April, or at least reduce stocking rates to a very low level. Recommending an annual stocking rate is difficult. The right number of animals depends on the current condition of the hill, the time of year and the type of animals in the herd. On most millennia-dominated hills, a stocking rate of 1 bovine livestock unit to 4 hectares in June and July is appropriate. Half this in May and from August to October, and ideally none at all from November to April. If competition from other grazers such as deer, feral ponies or sheep is significant, or if the site has been damaged by overgrazing in the past, the numbers should be reduced below this level. On flat blanket bog or on hills dominated by tall heather, the carrying capacity will be much less. 1 bovine livestock unit to 10 hectares in June and July, and ideally nothing for the rest of the year. Every hill is different, so watch out for signs of over or under grazing. Bare peat, large numbers of broken stems of heather and uniformly short vegetation are all warning signs for overgrazing. If this is localised, draw stock away with feed blocks or relocate water troughs or exclude them with temporary fencing. If the problem is widespread, reduce stock numbers and graze only in June and July. Large areas of tall, ungrazed millennia in summer or extensive litter in spring are signs of undergrazing. Introduce cattle in early summer. Don't be tempted to burn it. You will lose your payments and the millennia will come back stronger than ever. Do not provide hay or silage in the summer. Supplementary feeding causes long-term damage to the soil. This will result in a reduction in habitat value. If your animals need hay or silage in the summer, then they should not be on the hill. If docks or nettles are getting established near entrances or feeding points, or if there is excessive poaching, then supplementary feeding is causing a problem. Remember that if 5 cows are doing a good job, it does not mean that 10 cows will do a great job. Do not overdo it. Too many cattle or too long a grazing season will damage the resource, increase your costs and reduce your payments. Hill grazing is a resource. The season is short, but for 2 months in early summer, millennia will grow faster than ryegrass, and the right cattle can thrive on it. In the past, cattle were put up on the hill when meadows were closed for hay. This is not reinventing the wheel. This is traditional farming with traditional breeds, delivering for the environment and getting real value out of a resource with no inputs of fertiliser or chemicals.